Well, hello there, pot pickers. We've got a very special show for you today because it's not the Scouser and the Scot, because Big Ian's in Vegas, causing mayhem over there. But I have a very special guest. So today's show is actually the Scot and the Scot. Now, this guy that I'm going to introduce you to, people of my generation will know exactly who he is. Younger ones might not know, but you'll certainly know the name of his band. This is a guy that was in every girl in my classroom's walls in the early 70s and mid 70s. Absolute, well, what can I say? They were the biggest band in the world at that time, and that's not a lie. Anyway, let me introduce you to Eric Faulkner, Bay City Rollers. How are you, pal?
All right, hi Johnny. All right,
Yeah, not bad at all, buddy. Thanks so much for coming on.
that's cool.
It's quite surreal this because as I say, I'm 64-year old and I used to go to Cumnock Academy and I can remember the rollers when you hit big coming to play Cumnock Town Hall and all that, and I think there was a queue there about a mile and a half long waiting to get in and see you. I can still remember wearing all the gear, all the tartan trousers and the varsity jackets and all that. I had it all. Unfortunately, I wasn't very successful with lassies. I think it didn't work for me too much. But yeah, I can remember it well. And as I say, every lassie that I knew at the time was well into the Bay City Rollers. And you were huge, weren't you, mate? It must have come as a huge shock to you at the age you were at.
I remember coming up Town Hall. That was a rough old place.
You played a few, mate. I've read a book about you.
What was it? There was the Hamilton Trocadero,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Colin Baxter.
Aye,
Oh, that was because everywhere had its gangs. Like every
yeah.
town had its gang. And in Edinburgh, there was about five. Every housing scheme had its own little gang.
Oh, it must have
And
been mad.
they were the Rollers were always a live band. Like we did the town halls.
Yeah,
Edinburgh, it was the top story club,
yeah.
the caves, the Oasis. There was a gig every night, and so you kind of learnt your trade. You just worked your way up, and at that time, a lot of the band it was musical chairs. Like one you get this guy, and he go to that band, and I was saying to somebody there used to be an all night calf in Edinburgh that all the bands after the gigs, the bands used to go there.
Hmm.
So we all kind of knew each other, and we all kind of, so you got this gig, you got that gig, and there was a tandem. Oh, I'm talking Edinburgh. It was
Yeah, yeah.
like the Index, and a lot of them went on to maybe not in a band, but they got a career out of the music, and so it was good. It was healthy. I mean, it's different now, but I remember because the original Rollers was Alan and Derek Longmuir,
Hmm.
Nobby Clark, the singer,
Yeah.
and they had a few guys come and go. There was Archie Marr, who's I mean a lot of these guys are passed on now, but
Hmm.
David Payton and Billy Lyle, who formed Pilot,
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember them.
they did a stint in the. In fact, I think I might have joined when David Payton left. So what? But we all kind of knew each other anyway, and there was Craig Hall Studios. It's where you used to do the demos,
Hmm.
and they had one of these final cutting machines where they had to sort of get the music into the grooves. So
Oh,
there was
did they?
one place where you could walk it with a 7-inch demo tape,
Aye.
and I've got about 12 old roller ones, which I don't know quite what to do with, but interesting, interesting listening to see the how it was developing and stuff.
It's
But
really
when I
different.
joined, I was in a band called Kip,
Yeah,
who
yeah. I saw that. Yeah, yeah. I've read that. That was your band
and
before it.
and Kenny Stott was in it,
Hmm.
the actor, and a guy John Devine. John Devine and myself joined the Rollers at the same time,
Yeah.
and and we just gigged and gigged and gigged, and and the manager Peyton, he obsessed with a fan club, right? He was always getting names, addresses for the fans, and he used to do these mail outs and stuff. And we were in Southern Ireland. We were trying to get to a gig in Cork to support Thin Lizzy
Wow.
at the time. And we got stuck in the floods. And remember Radio Luxembourg,
Yeah, I do. The ship, the pirate ship.
right? They used to have a power play where
Yeah.
they play your song on the hour every hour. And I know, no lie, we were stuck in the flood, pushing the van, and Radio Luxembourg goes, and this week's power play is the Basic Rose. And the song was Remember.
Oh, I remember that.
And what Peyton had done, right, it's done a mail out to the fan club. I think at that time there was well over 3,000 names and addresses they had. He did the mail out he fronted the release date. So there was all these pre-orders going in.
Aye.
And the first week it just went in the charts, first week out the blue.
It's
And that was it. And that was the start of the Shanghai period.
it's quite
All that
funny
stuff.
because if you think about that, that was the 70s. And that's still the same thing that people are trying to do, but obviously it's Spotify now. So you, like I work with a young artist in Scotland. We're just launching our first singles coming out next Tuesday, and we're doing
Yeah.
all the pre-saves and pushing it because that's what you want to do on that first day. You want Spotify to notice all these people have downloaded the track so that they can go, oh, what's happening here? So then they put something behind it, kind of style. So if you think about it, Peyton was way ahead of his time because I mean, I read, as I told you before we started recording, I read a book about the Rollers because I was interested because it was like my time as a young teenager. And I mean, I can remember, didn't his mother know that used to have to, you know, put pictures and all that and post them out?
He'd converted a garage and his
Yeah,
mum used to sit and stuff the envelopes.
yeah, that's what I mean.
Which
It
is,
was
I
ahead of
mean,
his
see, that's
time.
nice. You know, that's a nice thing. You know, you so much raw crap, but it was good stuff. You know,
It's, I mean, like I said there, I think the last time I looked something, I checked, and I think the Rollers has sold something like 70 million plus albums. Now, bearing in mind you were a single band, you were better known for singles rather than the albums. The albums were a collection of songs, really. For you guys, I think it was 70 million, something like that. I read, and it's people
yeah,
that don't remember.
I'm not quite sure about that.
Ah,
I
right.
mean,
Well, it might be wrong, but as I
I mean,
say, it
at
was,
the time, a platinum album in the UK was 1 million sales.
yeah,
A gold album was 500,000.
yeah. But I mean, you
So
were you were huge.
I think Britain we got 3 platinum albums, but that's 3 million. It ain't
Aye.
80 million. Yeah,
I mean,
more in
mind you,
America.
that might include all the spot since then, all the
No, I think
Spotify
that
and all
might
that.
be you shouldn't believe what you read in these books.
But anyway, as I say, you were. I mean, I can remember watching
God
the
bless,
news. I
God
remember
bless
watching the news when
Google.
you were everywhere, and you were like in Australia and America, and I mean, after the Beatles, it was the first big mania, really, that I can remember as a band.
It was gradual,
Yeah.
right? The like before the remember started the Shanghai hits. Uh, the we'd recorded Saturday Night. This is with Nobby and John Devine,
Mm-hmm.
which 3 years later was the #1 in America.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We'd recorded. We did some manana. Oh God, it's great. But it won some song contest in Europe and was a hit in Germany. It would be 73.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was almost, I like almost, but not quite. I think Saturday Night got to maybe 51 in the UK, but you had to be top 50 to be in the charts.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was almost breaking through, but it was such a gradual thing. And the first time I heard the fans scream was Manchester Free Trade Hall. The
Oh
place
well.
was empty apart from 20 rows of Roar fans. And we came on stage, and that was the first time I had the fans screaming at us. And we were looking at each other going, what this shit's going on here? You know, but yeah, we were just like five guys off the house in the States. You know, we'd played in all the Edinburgh bands and we just walked our way up, got the record deal. And but that was weird. That was very strange because we thought, why are these people screaming at us?
How old were
maybe
you
they
then,
wanted the
Eric?
money. Maybe they wanted the money back. I don't know.
How old were you then?
I would be probably 19.
It's quite funny because if you look at that's kind of the age. So I'm bring this is me trying to bring this up to a level where other people younger than us would understand it. So you're kind of at the same age and all that as Robin that was and Take That when they hit big. And I mean it's well documented the problems that he had coping with it. You know, it's a hell of a age. I mean, when I was at
Well,
19,
it depends why you were doing it.
yeah,
Like for me, like I was a muso. I
yeah,
was playing guitar. I was writing songs. I wasn't particularly interested in being a pop star.
no,
You know, I didn't care if I was on the front of Jackie magazine. I'm like, when's the next album? And well, I always wanted to be a pop star, but you know, singers do that. You know, the singers have
oh,
always got that wee bit swagger, and which I suppose they got to have. Yeah.
yeah. Well, as an ex lead vocalist myself, yeah. Um, as I
What
as
you
I've as I've said myself, I says to be fair, I never wanted to be a star. I was quite weird because I was like, I just like being a show off. That was basically it. So I wanted to be a drummer, and then eventually I clocked it. They were always at the back of the stage. So I thought, oh well, sack that. I'll be a singer then.
oh, you
I
go
was never
way up.
talented enough. I was never patient enough to play a guitar or anything like that. I wanted to be able to, but I just never had the patience. I just wanted instant sort of success,
So
and
it kind of depends why you go into it. I mean, if you answer an advert saying singer wanted for boy band,
yeah.
you're kind of going into it for all the wrong reasons.
Mm,
And because it's fickle fame, you know, like when the Roar thing fell away, I'm getting to that later on, but it wasn't the end of the world because you still go in the studio, you're still doing sessions and stuff, and
hmm
because you're doing it just because you want to do it,
yeah.
which is a whole different vibe to I want to be a pop star. You know?
And do you think that sort of like when you got famous, there was a few changes I can remember. A young Irish lad, Northern Irish lad coming. I can't remember Ian or something. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Mitchell. Yeah,
Ian Mitchell.
yeah.
And do you think that that's what changed in the original band? The original band were mostly musicians, but then once you get a bit of fame and all that, did you find that there was a split between them that were coming in to be famous and those that were musos?
No, there was Ian Mitchell. What happened is Alan Lomure left,
Yeah,
right? Like Alan had some stuff, family stuff going on. And when Alan was, the whole thing went sideways because Alan was a cornerstone from the
yeah.
early days. And so Ian Mitchell came in and Ian was on the fourth album. He could play. He wouldn't have
Mm,
been there if he couldn't have played. And Ian went, then another guy, Pat McGunn, came in and he was a good guitarist. And but it was kind of too much too soon for these guys, you
yeah.
know. And when Alan came back, the whole thing centered up again. And so we did, I think Ian was on album 4. It's a bit weird that the Rollers in Britain, the first 2 albums were huge,
hmm
right? And I'll try and keep it short. The gigs were getting dangerous with the Mania, with the front of the stage, the crush,
Mm,
all that things, because they used to put scaffold bars up,
mm,
which is going to be the worst thing you could put for somebody getting pushed against.
yeah.
And a fan died at the David Cassidy concert.
Mm,
And that started to make it hard to get the venues because it just got really too dangerous.
yeah, yeah.
And we kind of went to America because we couldn't gig. We wanted to gig, and we couldn't gig in Britain because it was just too crazy. We went to America, and the American success was double what it was in Britain, probably even more. Like we had 5 gold albums in America, and you're competing with some big bands. And so Ian did album 4, that sort of thing, and Pat did album 5, and they both lasted about 6 months. And but as I say, it was probably too soon for them. And
Yeah.
I think we did many albums, 8, 9. I think we did 10 albums. There's a live album in Tokyo. I think
Japan.
it's live at the Budokan.
Aye.
And that captures what the roles were.
It's
And
funny.
the
It's
only
funny
album
because
Albert Wilson did is the live album.
it's funny because you're right. Over here, he might. If I think back, I could probably only think of 2 or 3 albums that the Bay City Rollers. You know, you're right. It was everywhere else that. You know, I wouldn't have known you that anyone near that amount of albums out there at all. I hadn't a clue.
Yeah,
I didn't even know it was a live one.
the record deal changed. We were on Bell Records, and Arista, Clive Davis, Arista basically took over Bell.
Hmm.
So a whole bunch of new A&R men came in, and all these American dudes like, you don't want to do this, but no. So that didn't help.
No.
And because America, we worked with some great producers, and they were hardly released in Britain.
Mm.
See, the British hits of Shanghai and Bye Bye Baby, Some Love Sensation, Remember. They were never hits in America. The
No.
American hits was Money Honey, Rock and Roll Love Letter, great Tim Moore song. We did a cover of Only Want to Be With You, which was all right, bit of a throwaway. And Made Me Believe Magic, the whole bunch of songs that were hardly ever released in Britain.
And was that just down to the
So we
record
went to
labels?
America when people. There you go, sorry.
Was that just down to the record labels, like the ones over here didn't think the bit? Because the Americans must have seen you as a different band to what we saw you as then, quite clearly.
Well, we did Saturday Night. This is the song that was Saturday Night was the last album on the first American album. First American album was a combination of 3 British albums.
Hmm.
And the radio stations in America picked up on the Saturday Night chant, like in the baseball, like SAT, it was
Oh, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
football chant, right? So America, I don't know if it was basketball or football over there. They picked up on it, and the single just broke out of the album, like out of the blue. And we thought, hold on, we're back to 73 again, you know? So that was #1 in America, but it was never hit in Britain. So we had this, it was like schizoid for a bit. We'd get to Britain, what's the single? Oh, that one. We'd get to America, what's the single? And it went until the 4th album that it finally all settled down, and the same album was being released everywhere at the same time. And Jimmy Einer produced that. Jimmy did All By Myself, Eric Cameron, was I suppose his big song. And I think there were maybe 2 hits of that. And 5th album, actually 5 and 6, Harry Maslin, who produced the Young Americans. Was that the Bowie album?
Oh,
Fame?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like Harry produced that, and Harry did 2 albums with us. So he came back for more. So we couldn't have been that bad.
Well,
And
I mean,
and
yeah, for those,
Nicky Hopkins was on Hammond organ. There was just people. It was like if somebody was in the studio, do your thing on that, see how it goes. And totally different thing. Whereas Britain, it was like, oh, you got 4 hours in the studio. And you'd hear the record and you go, oh, I never played that guitar. And it was just out of our control.
yeah.
And So, but you know, we had a great guy, Colin Frexter, who's a bit of a unknown hero of roller world, and he did all the keyboards on the first four albums.
Hmm.
Um, But
I was
you kind of look back on it and you think, well, you could sit and chat about it over a bottle of wine and that, but I mean, it's been, you're never going to change it. And there was good stuff, there was bad stuff, and what brought the band up was what I never knew when I signed the record deal. They had a 50% artistic control clause on page 95, way
right.
at the bottom. and and that was permanently shoved on our face. And so it was really hard to fight to get your songs on the album. And the fights we used to have with Peyton, to get in and get it sorted. No, it's a record deal and all that. And Les, this would be 78. Les had written an album with co-written with somebody else and wanted to do a solo album. It's fine, singers, that's what they do. And Peyton, the record company wouldn't release it because they hadn't had the chance to put in their 50% whack. And that was all publishing scams. And yeah, there was kickbacks going on all over the place. And the only way Les could get his album out was if he left the band and got
Oh,
himself out of the record contract. And that's why Les went.
was it?
You know, people go, oh, you were arguing. And he went for that, and probably not even knows that. Well, you know it now, but probably not a lot of people know that. It was sold as all those big fights and all that stuff. But hey, I
It's
don't know
it,
how good an album it was. I never heard it. It did get released though.
the thing with it is that this is so like so I'm working with young, as I say, a young female artist from Hamilton, Brogan, and she's like 23. And when I'm talking to her about what she's creating and everything and how we're going to market it and everything. And this is the bit that they don't understand, that in the days you were around with the record labels, they really were. They controlled everything. You know, it was all a big bloody scam, really. And they could make or break you. I mean, it's not. I've spoken to guys on interviewed where basically they were in a band, signed up, recorded two albums, and then the record label would just refuse to release them and bloody killed the bands. And they were great musicians, great artists, and it's just, you know, there were people that made a lot of money out of it, but it was very seldom the artists. And I mean, you guys are the perfect example of that. You get stitched up big time, didn't you?
Yeah, the the thing with them and the YouTubes and that back then, there was a sifting process. You had to be fairly good to get through.
Hmm.
You know, there's a lot of bands never made it,
Hmm.
and so you kind of had to have something about you for it to get a record deal.
Hmm.
And but at least we got paid for an album. Like our record percentage was dreadful, but if we sold 1 million albums, we got paid our share of 1 million albums. You saw, I spoke to somebody at PRS and Performing Rights Society who collect the publishing incomes, or
Yeah,
part of it. And he told me 1 million Spotify plays will earn you 750 quid.
I know.
Right? I can make more than that in the co-op, like working behind the tills.
Yeah,
So
it's an art.
and
It's a
so in a way, there's a good and bad in it, you know. Like how are you supposed to buy your 1,200 quid Jackson guitar on 50,000 Spotify plays?
hmm.
It'll not earn you. It might earn you some kudos, and it might. And the only place you're going to get a result from that is if you go and gig.
Well,
You know,
that's definitely the
but you
case
don't know
now.
what you don't, like you don't know where your Spotify downloads have come from.
Yeah.
They could all have come from Canada, and you're gigging in Belgium.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you can go on your art, you can go on your, and then of course there's a problem with the bots as well. These certain places where if you see a load of hits from a certain town and it's full of bots, so then they don't count. So it's all a night. It is all a nightmare. The only people Still making money out of Spotify are the record labels, and that's the record labels that control Spotify, and it's their artists, the Ed Sheerans and the Taylor Swifts of the world, who are making all the
You've got
money.
to be, you've got to have zillions of plays.
Oh, aye,
But
100%.
again, for them, they're making the big bucks on the concerts.
Yeah,
So
of
it's
course
kind
they
of
are.
lost leader. Is that a lost leader? Is that what you call it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, even I can remember, I think it was Bruce Springsteen said he's never actually made money really out of his music. It's gigs, selling tickets and selling t-shirts. And that's the same with everybody. But the thing is, nowadays, you can't even make money out of the actual the music itself, really. You do have to gig. You have to gig. You have to sell tickets. You have to sell merch to make any money back. And it's just the way it is.
Well,
Um,
it's all saying the money's always in the t-shirt. I mean, that's never a truer thing being said. You can do big money on the movies,
yeah.
right? Bye Bye Baby was on Love Actually, and we were in court with Sony Corporation in America at the time, so we never physically saw the money. But there was about 120 grand between the publishing and the artist was paid out by the movie company. The
Yeah.
buyout, just one payment. So that's you can start buying a house on that. I mean, that's the last place this where you're going to really make good money.
Yeah.
And I've just had there's two of my songs. There's one Rock and Rollers on a Kenny Dalglish documentary,
Oh,
and
is it?
that's coming out. And that's quite a wee rocky song. And there was another one on, it's not a big budget movie, but I can't remember the name of it. And apparently this woman's just singing the song in a taxi. And you think, well, fair enough, just sing with the check. They've got to ask your permission. Your publisher's got to ask you, do you mind your song being used in a circumstance?
Yeah.
Right? Or do you mind your song being used in this porn movie or whatever? So you do have some control on that. But
Yeah, because it's a sync
that's
deal, isn't
basically
it? I mean, that's one of the things that I'm trying to work with her is getting her onto the sync deals because she writes very cinematic music. So if you can get in the sync deal where basically you put forward for, I mean, I worked with a band and they were pitched for the Super Bowl and they wanted a particular type of song and they get down to the last three or four. That one alone, if it get picked up, was like $375 million.
yeah.
Yeah, something mad like that. It was
That
no, sorry,
sounds
tell a lie. Three
that
hundred
sounds a lot.
seventy-five
Maybe
thousand
too many
dollars.
deals.
It was nuts. It was $375,000, and I was like, Christ, 10% of that'll do me. Of course, we didn't get it.
Well, I mean, I don't. What the Roars financially was the biggest rip-off ever.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, we did like Anaheim Stadium. We played in front Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto, 75,000 people. The merchandise, right? And I spent a couple of years trying to track it down, and merchandise hit the dead end in Canada. You know, I could see where it was going, who it was going through and stuff. And so I gave up on that one. The record deal, they just never paid us for 20 years. And we all managed to get in the same room and took an action against Sony in America because it was an American record deal by then.
Hmm.
And that went on for 9 years. And they just bust your ass on costs. That's all
Yeah.
they do. It's like watching a movie. You know, you get these 20-page affidavit, 30-page affidavits, and you got to go through every sentence and what to do these depositions. I'm sitting in this office in London, 12 hours I was doing a deposition on us just trying to get paid.
It's
And they're saying, oh, we're saying, oh, we didn't know who to pay. And you go, well, wouldn't it be too hard to find us? But we eventually got a really good settlement. And we're now getting paid a good deal. But of course, there's not any big income because it's all on
no.
Spotify. You go on
Hmm.
YouTube, you can play people's albums.
Yeah.
and you think, I don't remember signing a record deal that said you can put it on YouTube and don't pay me.
No, no, it's all wrong,
It
mate.
might,
It's all wrong.
it might be one of the reasons why you got all the old bands back on the road because all their incomes just disappeared overnight.
Yeah, yeah, no, you're
Well, it could
right.
be they've got mortgages and stuff, you know.
Hmm.
And
But
the promoters are having a field day because they've got 100 bands want the same gig. So the prices are getting, I say, I will give you that. Yeah.
well, all I would say is that the good thing is, mate, you're still here, you're still telling the story, and you're still making music, and and I'm really pleased. That's one thing that I like about it is I like to see people like yourself that survived it and had a tough time with it and got ripped off. But you haven't lost your passion for songwriting and performing, though, have
Well,
you?
you just put it, it just gives you some backbone. You know, and you want to deal with it. You want to spot a rip off a mile off. And but I did before I got ill. I was doing acoustic festivals and the Guildfest, just all these places. I was doing art centres. I was doing singer songwriters, which is just everybody brings their guitar and you just sit and play for a couple of hours, and that's just nice. The nice people and gigs in libraries. The and as we said, I just got struck down with encephalitis, and I've lost about 9 years, so I'm now determined to try and make up for it. I've got about 4 albums in the can.
Have you?
I've got there's a retro one on Bandcamp, which has got Coin Box, Blondie, Clem's drumming on quite a few of the tracks,
He was a
and
some drummer,
and,
brilliant drummer.
and, and that kicks along. And we almost did a band with Clem, me, Guy Matlock, and Clem said he was talking to Paul Weller, but then Paul didn't want to do it. So it kind of fell apart. But I kept working with Clem and kept in touch and stuff. And Blondie went through it. Every band never got paid. It was just like if you got paid, you think, well, how lucky that what's wrong with you? You got paid, you know.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's just madness, mate. It's madness because
We've
one of the
got a
things I
tax
know,
bill.
yeah, one
Sorry,
of the
I didn't
things,
mean.
one of the things that you mentioned there about when you got ill. Now, I've obviously read up on it, but I'd never heard of it. So, what can you talk us through what actually happened there?
Well, it came out the blue. It's as I said, the nearest I can explain. It's like a cold sore on the brain,
Hmm.
and when it bursts, it's a bleed and a bruising on the brain. And apparently, I was in the Scottish Borders, and I was signing some Christmas type merchandise. You know, I've got a little merchandise shop, and apparently, I just stood up and was almost talking backwards.
Right?
And then the next minute, I just collapsed. And the ambulance got, considering it was in the wilds and the borders, got there really quick. And but I was lucky; they got me in like early enough. And so I say, so I had I thought a couple of years afterwards, I thought, well, I was just getting these seizures, and I had emotional lability, which means it was really embarrassing. For no reason whatever, I would just burst into tears. I wasn't thinking about it. I wasn't upset about anything. Just no control on the emotions. And I'd be in the co-op and I'd have my shopping basket, and it was just like a rush, and I just had to get out because it was embarrassing.
Mm.
Like people, they all know who you were.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I kind of just hid myself away and hit the duvet for 2 years and watched every episode of Morse that was ever made. Midsummer Murders.
And there was a load of them.
Just all the TV stuff, and just basically just really had to switch off. And I was lucky enough; I had enough money to pay rent and that. So I thought I'll do so. I felt like doing something, and where was it? was going to get gig in Hawaii, and I had a seizure right in the middle of the set,
Right.
so I just had to stop. And I thought, well, that's it. I'm never ever going to want to work again. But they changed the meds. You got to get the balance right with the medication and stuff. And so I've got my morning ritual. I've got the Smarties all lined up. Big one blown. So they got the balance right, and I feel really good.
Well, you're
And
looking good, pal. I'll say that for you. You look good too.
the thing I've found is if there's a problem, if some shit happens that I used to worry about,
Hmm.
right? I don't give a damn now.
Like a new
I
lease
just
of
say
life.
fair enough, piss off.
Yeah, it's like a new lease of life. It's a new sort of way of looking at it because in reality, a little bit like it's almost like you've been reborn kind of style, and you've kind of refocused on what's important, and more importantly, what isn't important. Would that be safe to say that?
Yeah. It's a rebalance. You got time to just center yourself. And well, I'm doing acoustic stuff, but I was talking about Saturday night, and I'm #1 in America. The B side song called "I've Started and I'm Not Going to Finish." That's Marlena, right?
Yeah.
Marlena has got Alan Wamia playing accordion. I'm doing acoustic and fiddle,
Aye.
right? And it is so the exact opposite of what the Shanghai Lines and stuff. So it's kind of always been there,
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
right?
I mean,
And so
if you think about it, at the time you guys were out, there was also the band The Sweet, and The Sweet were known by people that never went to see them gig. Saw them on TV doing Little Willie and Wigwam Bam and all that pop stuff. Then if you went and saw them live, they were a bloody hard rock band live.
they were great.
So they didn't
Yeah,
do any of that stuff. And I mean,
yeah.
it's
You
like
just
it's record labels on it again.
you fall into a bad deal.
Yeah.
You got a bad manager. You get bad advice, and lawyers. I would never sign another contract ever again. And if any advice for young acts, don't say anything. You know what I mean? Because it's just, but I think these days there's no any, as we said earlier, there's not financially looking at that side of it. There ain't really any big money on recordings unless it's the
No.
movies, as we said. And so you got to do it because you want to do it, whether it's in front of 50 people or 50,000 people is irrelevant.
I mean, it must be because I mean, I saw it like looking at it, you go from playing to 75,000 people, and then 25 years later or 30 years later, you're playing to 75 people or 750 people. But I don't think it mattered to me because at the end of the day, the people that are there to see and listen to you. And I genuinely, are you the same? Do you like it more intimate now?
Yeah, it's great. Well, you kind of do the you got a chance to chat to people, sort of
Aye,
tell them about the song, and you do two sets, and it's relaxed, and you're on your own if you're either going to have a good gig or a bad gig. It's a tough gig. You're up there on your own, and there ain't anywhere to hide, and I just like it,
hmm.
and
Do the people that are coming to see you are people that do you get a kind of mixture of people that remember you for the rollers, or is it more people that just come to see you because and they know your music nowadays?
well, I kind of I'm not shy about saying that if you come and see me, you're not going to hear Shanghai
Aye,
and Bye Bye Baby because I'm not 21 anymore.
no,
It's piss poor show if all you can do is stuff that you did 40 years ago.
too right. I agree.
I mean, talk about self defeat, or whatever, however you say it.
Mm.
Then you got the nostalgia circuit, you can make decent, like sort of
Hmm.
decent dosh. I've done it myself in 225, whatever. Uh, I used to go to Germany and it was Eric Faulkner's basic rollers, and you'd get there and there was Brian Connolly's Sweet, Les Gray's Mud,
Aye.
and we were on a tour bus once. There was actually it was me, Woody Allen at the time, right? And Sweet was there, Mud was there, Sailor, glass of champagne, they were, and the Trumps,
Oh yeah.
Reg
Well
Presley,
thing.
right? And we sat at the back and tried to work out how much money the bus had generated, like just like over the years. And Brian Connolly should not have been on the road.
No.
Like we used to help Brian a few times. Uh, Reg Presley. I mean, the the
Reg,
Trogs were
Reg was in
Trogs
the
were
Trogs,
all
were he? Yeah.
the Trogs were always famous for arguing with each other.
Were
Right, always arguing in the stadiums.
they?
And Reg was in a bad way, actually, because Reg was into the con circles
All
and all
right.
that kind of stuff. And I chatted to in Germany, you can't check in the hotel till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We got there at 11 o'clock, and I was chatting to Reg for good 2 hours. And I got up and I heard him say to his tour manager guy, pointing to me, he says, "Oh, who's that?" He'd been talking to me for 2 hours. And he went on, and Trogs were great back. And he was like this old man when the Hobart, and when he went on stage, he just straightened up
Yeah.
and
Muscle
and,
memory.
and just went into remote control
Wow.
and done it. But one gig, he was seriously not well and shouldn't have been there, and he was all over the place. And I could hear the drummer saying to the bass player, "Let's get off Wild." You always end with a big song. Wild Thing, let's get off. So they go into Wild Thing, and Reg is singing the next song that was in the set list.
Oh God, that's bad.
And it was sad. It was, you see these things and you think, God. And so the bass player threw his guitar down, the drummer walked off, and the promoter just went on and led him off the stage. And 6 weeks later, he died.
Hmm. Yes, there was a lot of.
So it's a lot of casualties.
Oh God, I was just going to. That was the word I was going to use. There's a
Yeah,
lot of casualties, and there's still a lot of casualties going on because fame is a fickle mistress,
yeah. But
and
if you're in it for fame, don't bother.
oh no,
Go
that's
get,
that's the
like,
best.
go get a,
That's it. That's
go get
you're
a
right.
proper job.
Aye. No, before I forget, did I read that you were? So I became a punk in the mid 70s to late 70s. I loved my punk music. Did you actually stand in with Stiff Little Fingers?
Yeah, but it was Pauline Black's Three Men in Black,
Ah, right.
right? And there was Pauline, Jake Burns, uh, Dave Sharp from The Alarm,
Oh yeah.
and Nick Welsh from Selector.
Right.
And that was the lineup with Jake Burns. Jake had gone AWOL in America, do whatever Jake
Well,
does.
we'll not get into that.
And,
No.
and so I just filled in for Jake.
Yeah.
And all it was is that we just banged our songs along, Four Stools. And Pauline was great, serious artist. She was great. And so that was good. And after that, Jake came back, so I supported them on an art centre tour.
All right. Cool.
And that was me into the acoustic stuff. I did the acoustic festival with Great Britain. Mike Stevens, the promoter, he gave me a spot on the main stage, which went well. And I did a lot of benefit gigs for Unison. I'm
I
quite
saw
off
that,
with.
mate. Yeah. So one, and you actually introduced one of my political heroes at Glastonbury, I
Tony Benn,
believe.
oh, Tony.
Tony Benn, the one and only Tony
I've,
Benn.
I've got the boots. And but I'd moved into that kind of, it was another world. Like Shanglang was really just somewhere over the hills.
Yeah.
And don't ask me to play it. You know, if you want to hear it, go buy the album, whatever. And so I kind of wondered, and I was just about to really break through on the main stages, and I got ill. That was the bummer of it.
Aye.
You know, I spent 5, 6 years working the way up the bill. I thought I'll just go in at the bottom, and if it's any good, I'll work my way up. So I was always getting asked back, which was nice. And
Because I
I
read
enjoyed
that.
it. Thank you for the gig. It was good, and it was a bit of a. It's not everybody's cup of tea because you know, I'm doing songs with a message, and some of this stuff. I mean, how in this day and age do you need a bloody food bank?
Oh no, it's fucking. I mean,
You know, I
I
mean,
think you and I.
what the hell is going on?
I think you and I share a political view. I mean, I'm the first 10 years of my life. I worked for the coal board as a blacksmith, so I was
My
very
dad
much.
was a black. So my dad was a blacksmith.
Was he?
Yeah,
Oh, that's nuts. That is. I
he,
well, I
he
was
used to.
first 10 years of my life, so I was brought up with all the union men, and I can remember it. I think I was 19 when my charge hand gave me a book called The Ragged Trouser Philanthropist, which I'm reading again for the
Yeah,
first
yeah, yeah,
time.
yeah.
Which I'm reading again for about the first time again in about 40 odd years. I just bought it the other day and I started reading it
Looks
again.
different, doesn't it?
Oh
When you
yeah,
go back and read it
yeah.
once you're of an age. Yeah.
And it's like yeah, food banks and all that. I mean, that's the other thing. Like with the rollers, at the time you guys were famous, Britain wasn't a right fucking mess, wasn't it? It was an
And,
absolute
and,
mess of a
and
place.
and at the time it was all men's stuff, and the girls really didn't have that much that
Hmm.
they could call their own.
Hmm.
So in a way, the Rollers was of its time. We were just kind of there at the right time, and
Yeah.
because to be honest, in the early, it was as much the fans as what it was the band.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the fans were as much of the gig as what we were, and but you know, you look back. I mean, it was a lot of money trouble, but you look back and they're all there with their tartan scarves and stuff, and
Oh,
it
it
was
was.
just like it was just good.
Well, as I remember getting the belt at school because I refused to take my tartan scarf off in the middle of during the lesson, and the teacher said to me, "Take it off. It's not, you can't be sitting with that in the classroom." To which I reply, "Well, you're wearing a tie, sir. So what's the difference?" But he didn't like that answer apparently. So
I went
so
down
you,
the
you got me
stairs.
three of the. So it's your fault I get three of the belt that day.
Sorry about that. My apologies.
But I mean, so the reason why we're talking is because the young girl that I'm talking about, I'm working with now from Scotland. So she uses Catherine from CJC for promotion for radio promoting, and you do as well. And it was Catherine sent me your Christmas song, and we tried to tee this up before Christmas, but our
That's right.
diaries
Yeah,
didn't line up. So yeah,
yeah.
so Catherine Campbell, so this is why we're doing it now. Now, and it's quite funny how it's come around, but I listened to that Christmas song and I just loved it because it was a proper Christmas song. You know what I mean? It sounded like Greg Palmer and all them kind of the traditional
Well,
ones.
the thing with songs, I've got the point. The songs it's the words.
Yeah,
Like a kind of tune's a tune. If you want a hook, you put a hook in it. If you want to middle it, but it's the words.
yeah,
You know, there's only so many ways you can say "I love you," "I can't shit." You know, it's just it's on the lyrics, and you're talking about what like your your dad blacksmith. Uh, my dad was the Scottish delegate in the STUC.
oh, was it?
So I've always had that. So in a way, the roller thing for me was like a wee holiday from what I should have been doing,
Mm,
if that kind of makes any sense. Uh, so it's well, I'm writing songs that my dad would like. He would have liked some of these songs.
mm,
So
yeah.
I kind of like thinking that, you know.
I mean,
But the
the thing
Christmas
with it is,
song,
if your dad came back now, he'd probably be aghast that we've still got the same problems as we had then. You know,
I know, I know.
it's just nuts. We just never learn. I mean, that's the whole thing about the ragged trouser philanthropists. We've learned sod all in 150, 200 years. Not a damn thing. To move on to your next release. So I've listened to it and absolutely love it. So it's Two Chloris, but it's you. You've literally put music to a Robbie Burns poem. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. I was sitting on a train. Somebody had given me a Burns book. It's a present. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
get a wee present. And I was on a train from Hastings back up Scotland. I'd done a gig in Hastings, and I was just flicking through it, and I'd never heard of that poem.
Me neither.
I'd never heard of Two Chorus, and I thought, well, that should have a tune, and you just grab the meter of the poem, and you just and it wasn't that long. It was quite 10, 15 minute melody to get, and then Phil Cunningham, I gave them to Phil Cunningham like the 6 songs. Uh, is this what wants to do? I always gave my songs to the producer,
Mm.
and let the producer decide what the best ones are.
Well, that's interesting.
Sometimes it's hard to keep, like when it's your song, you're going to like it no matter what. So I
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
just tell me the 3 songs you want to do, Phil, and we did them in Rocket Science Studio in Glasgow. 3 songs, 2 days mixed in the bag,
Mm.
and Phil's playing the piano on chorus, and he's great. I mean, he's like the Dion of Celtic music,
Oh
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
was a
So
thrill.
I.
That was just a thrill that he would even work with me,
But it says a lot about you
because
because
he's read the same crap in the Daily Record than what everybody else has.
yeah, I mean, it says a lot about you though, because it'd be dead easy to prejudge you because of the rollers, the early rollers, the pop hits, the shangalangs and all that. It'd be dead easy for people to just sort of think, oh yeah, boy band, probably wasn't even playing the record, playing in the record, all that kind of stuff. But you've obviously, you are a really good guitarist and really good musician for somebody like Phil to even give you the time of day. So it says a lot about you, Eric. I mean, it really does.
Well, you just got to. I mean, I've just stuck my head down and
Mm.
just going for it, and just let everything else bounce off, not a negative. Like, like in a way, the people get surprised. They hear it and they go, "Oh shit, I never knew you did stuff like that." And you go, "Well, yeah, I've been doing it for 12 years."
Yeah.
Um, but as I say, as long as some people like it, and I appreciate your comments, so that's nice. Um,
And then I listened to Jiggered, and oh my God, I loved that. I love Jiggered.
yeah, it's too
I
short.
love the word as well. It's a play in words, which obviously, as an Ayrshirman, I knew what you
Well,
meant.
anyway, I'm jiggered when you're knackered, isn't it?
Yeah, I was just going to say that for anybody watching that's not Scottish. If you're jiggered up there, it means you're knackered, you're tired. So when I saw that, and it's a play, obviously, when you hear the music, it is a jig as well. I just thought it reminded me of bands like Silly Wizard and that kind of thing. And I think it was, I can't remember, there used to be a thing on a Friday night called the Transatlantic something. It was BBC Scotland, and they used to get people that played,
Transatlantic sessions.
that's it. And you used to
Yeah,
hear
Phil, that's
all
what Phil
sorts of
Cunningham did.
amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's where I found out about Phil from because it wasn't my kind of thing, to be honest with you. But I used to start watching it, and I was living down in England at the time, and it was just the artists that were coming on. There were Americans, Canadians, anybody that could have played sort of like rootsy Celtic roots music,
yeah,
and
yeah,
I used to
yeah.
think that was amazing. So you used to get all that kind of music, and when I heard yours, I was like, it just transported me straight back to that.
Yeah. And I'm just trying to open the door a bit with these songs, just to because I realise it's a mountain to climb. Because you just said that people see you as, oh, it's him that did Shang Lang, and and I've not got the time to argue and say, well, I actually did 12 albums and here's a live one. I've not got time for it.
No.
And so you're going to like it or you don't. And
And if it comes to your heart, as I say to people, and you said it yourself, if you're a musician or you're in a band or you're whatever, you should. be making stuff you like yourself. You should only be trying to please yourself. And then if other people are pleased by it as well, then that's a bonus.
Yeah, like you write a lyric, and if it's a personal first, second person song, I mean, somebody else has gone through the same shit
Yeah.
that you're going through, and that's what songs are. The solace, the something to relax to, something to get angry with, whatever. And that's what music is,
Hmm.
you know.
And the thing that transports you, and when you hear it, it transports you to a place and time and a feeling. And that's again, when to go back to the young lass I'm just started working with, when I get sent the 3 tracks that she's recorded, and I was listening to the car, and the hairs in the back of my arms were stood up.
No, you need to send them to me. I want to hear
Ah,
them.
well, Catherine's got it's Catherine works with her as well.
All right, right.
It was Catherine that actually introduced her to me, to be honest with you, and because I knew Catherine because I used to do my own radio show in Scotland Rocks Radio for 3 years, and Catherine used to send me stuff, and I used to play the odd song that she sent me because mine was mainly grassroots rock and metal and country rock and stuff like that. And so anything at all that she did that she thought I'd like, she used to send to me. So that's why I got it. But it was like, and it's like she's got one coming out, and I'm telling you this. It's not an advert, by the way, guys, because the song will be out by the
Right,
time you
good,
see
good,
this.
good.
But it's a song called it's a song called "A Monster in a Suit and Tie," and it comes out next Tuesday. Well, that's the 20th, and lyrically. I mean, it's been released on the 20th because it's a year since Mr. Trump came back into power. So a monster in a suit and tie kind of gives you a hint at what the
Yeah,
content
yeah,
is.
yeah. That's
That's a
right.
young lassie, and and the lyrics are just amazing. So she you could judge her by looking at her and going, oh, she'll be some sort of little pop star. And she sings with a really sweet voice. Her phraseology is amazing, but the lyrical content is what grabbed
In the
me.
words, sort of
Uh,
saying it's in the
and I'm
lyric.
not getting, and she's got a couple of other ones coming out later in the year as well, which are equally the same. Every one of them's got a story, and it was that, mate. And it's like it's very cinematic. There's no guitars and stuff in it. It's like the French horns and all. So it's completely different for me to work with. But it was the words, it was the lyrical content and the way the story built up behind it. It's just stunning. And that's a kind of
Yeah.
you made me think of it because of the way you're describing how you like your music now, how you want yours to be.
And I don't know where my songs come from. I could just wake up and I've
Hmm.
got a tune in my head, or I read an article on something and use that as a starting point. And but anyway, so I've kind of got the Celtic stuff, like the Phil and uh, which is nice, kind of back to the roots. I remember you used to have the Hogmanay parties, and the family would be
Yeah.
there, and one singer, one song.
Yeah.
And your uncle would sing "My Love Is Like a Red, Red Rose," and
Oh, aye.
my dad's song was Travers, "Dark in the Dungeon."
Oh, yeah,
Dark in
yeah.
the dungeon, cold in the ground. That was his ones. And my cousin played folk guitar, and he taught me a lot of the chords and all
Hmm.
that kind of stuff.
Mm.
He was a bit an Irish rebel, so I said the better. The but everybody had the song, and you had to be quiet. You couldn't make a
Oh, aye.
noise.
It was dead serious, wasn't it? It was dead serious. The fact that everybody was rat-arsed and you still having to be dead serious. I mean, I used to
It was a
go to
badge of
Wens.
honor.
I used to go to weddings in the 70s, as a kid. And my auntie used to get up with my 2 cousins, and they used to always say, I think it was Your Cheating Heart and stuff like that. It was funny in Scotland. It was either Scottish songs or cowboy song or country and western. I was like, because I still, do you know what? I still love all that stuff because it's just ingrained into me. Even though I went into rock and metal and rap and everything over the years, I still have this love for that. The Scottish music and the country
Well,
music.
it's timeless.
Yeah.
Like in 40 years' time, nobody's going to give a damn about Shang Lang and almost every other hit record. I mean,
Hmm.
people still talk about hit records. I don't know. The it's transient. It's a couple of years shelf life, and that's it. But the like the repertoire songs,
Mm.
the songs that like the Corrs used to do, and Ewan McCall and Jimmy McGregor, and that's what I used to watch, and that's because is what my dad watched. I mean, like he was into all that with the union stuff. He was on strike every week.
Yeah.
He worked at it was the bottle works down in Leith in Edinburgh, where
Aye.
and that was it. He became the Scottish delegate for the Boilermakers Union.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was always a strong
Yeah,
union, that
yeah.
as well. Yeah,
I
well,
used to hear him practice.
but
Practicing his.
we were obviously, I worked for the mines, so I was NUM, but we had our own one, Scottish Collier Engineers, Boilermakers, Trades Association, Skebt or something, but we were under that. So I was one of the ones that was on strike for like 14 months or something in 84, 85. It was, that was nuts. And I was a single man at the time, so I was getting sod all. Never got a
Yeah,
penny.
I used to hear him in the bath rehearsing his speeches and stuff.
Ah, brilliant.
It's amazing what you remember. You just remember little when you were 6, 7. You just remember little snippets. And
Aye. And long may it continue, mate, because I guarantee you that's, as you said, that's where a lot of your ideas for your lyrics are coming from, and more power to you. So what's it? Because we'll just look at the time. We better wrap this up, pal. So what's the future for the short term future, medium term future for you, Eric?
well, short term is I've just taken on a Zoom Pro, so I'm going to do some 5, 6 song little mini shows
Ah, bro.
live on Zoom. And and if I get, as I said, I'm just taking it step by step.
Hmm.
And because I'm still, they'll not let me go to the hospital. I'm still on the list, so to speak. So I think I've got another checkup next month.
Hmm.
And but a little bit, I don't want to push it too far. And if I get through the Zooms, I'll hit the festivals again.
Ah, that's
I do
brilliant.
loads of charity stuff. I've just raised money for 2 memorial benches in Edinburgh Princess Street Gardens for Liza and Allen. Like we raised 14 grand.
Well, that's
So
cool, mate. Well done.
they've now got benches with a little plaque on it.
Oh,
So
that's
that
cute.
was nice. I do work for the Kef Lions Society. And
Yeah.
just stuff. And I'm very much into the community radio
Yeah.
thing. I've got a list. There's over 300 community radio stations in Britain.
Oh, it's mad, yeah. I mean, and to be fair, that's when I'm working with my artists, like with Catherine, and there's another guy up in Scotland that's a promoter for radio. And I said, the people that's wanting to hear new music are listening to them in community radio. They're listening to specialist shows. They're not
Yeah,
listening
yeah.
because they're never going to hear it on the big nationals. The big nationals is basically, as I call it, saga radio. Plays the same old shit for years ago, and people sing along to it. If you've got new music, then the best place to listen for it is community radios and the online radio stations and all that. That's where I go
Like,
to listen to
because
mine.
that was, I was talking to Billy Sloan,
Oh, aye, Billy, aye.
right? Actually, it was for the Christmas song. I said, "Hi, Billy, I'm on the plug. What can right? Will you play me song for me?" And he said, "I would, but we've all just been sacked
Aye.
at
Good old
Radio Scotland."
BBC Radio Scotland. They're really throwing the
Colin,
baby out with
Colin
the
Mc,
bathwater.
Billy Sloan went. Colin McDonald, was it
Yep.
Colin that used to do the folk Celtic show? And I think a couple of others. And that was pretty much the last shows that could kind of play what they wanted to play. I mean, you got your Heart FM, and the presenters are giving a playlist. They ain't got a say on anything they play.
No, I mean I mean it's like we sent the track, Brogan's track to STV radio, the new STV radio. Guess what? They'll only play songs for the 80s, 90s, noughties, and they will play you if you're unsigned or that, but only if you do a cover song from those period of times. I mean,
Really?
like I say, yeah, they're not putting that out there, but I'm putting it out there. It's absolutely diabolical, as is what BBC Radio Scotland's done, because you're basically taking away the chances for new young bands and artists to get their music out there, and they should be bloody ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, they should, because it's, like they're going to end up playing songs by dead people. I mean, you got to let the new blood come through.
Aye. And
You,
and
you,
and and it's just and all
or
it
it's
is
just going to stick.
commercialism. It's commercialism. It's just basically. But the problem is as well that it lies with the listeners because the listeners are the ones that don't want to hear new music. They're the ones that want to live in the past. As I say, saga radio. And the best, most exciting thing for me, I'll be 65 in April, and the most exciting for me now, I still occasionally listen to the old tracks, but I love hearing new music, whether it's from an artist like yourself or whether it's new artists. I don't care. If it's new and it's fresh, that's what I want to hear. And there's a lot of
You've
us
got to
out
have a
there, but we're
chance.
not being panded. We're not being fed it by the nationals.
But there are the shows. You say the special sort. I mean, God, I could go on Mastermind to tell you about the shows, community radio shows of Great Britain. And there's country shows, there's heavy metal shows,
Oh yeah,
there's acoustic shows. You just got to find them, get in touch with either Facebook or email, just somehow get your song to them. You
yep.
know, there's no any point in sending it to info@Doncaster Community Radio because they never look at the emails.
No,
You
no,
know,
they
like the
don't.
working people, they're doing it for nothing.
Yeah.
They're doing it because they love doing it.
Well, I did it for 3 years in Scotland Rocks Radio. Did a 2 hour show every Friday night. And all it was I played the music I liked. It all had to be
Yeah,
kind of new, unsigned sort of bands that was the only chance they were probably going to get heard. And I loved it. And I used to love listening to the radio show afterwards. And people used to say, "Do you listen to your own shows?" And I remember saying, "Yeah, I like the music." And then it dawned on me, no reason why shouldn't like the music. It was me that's bloody picking it. But I never twigged. It was just like,
well, I mean,
but
you've got the Mixcloud listen again thing, and
yeah,
you actually never really know who's listening to it, but you know there's people hearing it.
yeah. Oh, it's
The
absolutely
people will
magic.
listen to what they'll listen to what they're told to listen to.
Yeah.
You know,
Aye.
like the daytime stuff, the '70s shows, the '80s stuff, and it's I get it. It's memories for people. It's nostalgia and all that kind of stuff, but. You know, you got to let the new acts. I'm an old man now. You got to let the new acts get through.
Yeah, you do. You definitely do. And it's the same with it's the same with the small venues where everybody started, where you started and everybody else, they're dying off because not enough people's going to them. And it's because we're getting stuck in this saga thing, which is living in the past. Well, and these big arenas that they're going to see, if it wasn't for the grassroots venues and that, they wouldn't have anybody to watch in the first place because everybody
Yeah,
come up
yeah.
through them. How many gigs did you play in flea pits and bloody town halls and workmen's clubs to get to where you got to initially? You must
Hundreds,
have
hundreds.
hundreds, probably thousands, mate. To be fair, probably thousands if you think about it.
I actually found my dad kept it. I used to keep the cash book for the gigs,
Did you?
right? Edsall Town Hall, 15 quid. Hamilton Trocadero, 25 quid. And it's really funny. Petrol was £1 a gallon,
Yeah.
£1 a gallon.
Oh, that's fine.
Unbelievable.
Them are the days, pal. Them are the days.
I
Anyway,
know.
Rebecca.
Listen, there's a couple of old codgers on a bench.
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. It's been lovely to
Good.
speak to you.
Thanks for the thanks.
And keep in touch with whenever you're releasing anything. I'll do my bit for you and get it
Oh,
out
good
there
stuff.
to the
Good.
people I do. And
And